What is up, YouTube fam? Robbie C here, and today we start part 1 of 2 for the resolution of seeing, am I going to be getting a pig tattoo, and will 2 individuals be joining me in that tattoo? In order to find out, we're going to have to keep watching. But before we dive into that, we've got to ask obviously the most important question of the day. How are you doing today, Eric? Are you having a good one?
So catch me if I fall.
We are back with the On the Ground series, and if you have been following the On the Ground series, you'll know that the last installment that we did of this, I had 2 lovely individuals, Andrew and Micah, who approached me with an opportunity to qualify for the State Games of America by playing a qualifying tournament here in the Birmingham area. They're unfamiliar with George Ward, the course, and that's where I actually learned to play disc golf on that exact course. So being intimately familiar with the layout there, we spent several weeks coaching them up, playing even a flex start tournament, trying to get them prepared for them to play in this qualifying tournament for the State Games of America. Now, the challenge that was laid out on the line was if one or both of them qualified, which means they have to get a podium spot in their divisions of MA4 and MA2, then what we would do is we would get pig tattoos to signify and remember that moment. They originally put themselves as the only ones who were going to get the pig tattoo, but you guys kind of voted in the comments and said that I might need to join them. So we'll see how things go. For today, we're diving into the first round. It was a 2-round event in a single day, and we spent round 1 with Andrew, who was playing an MA4, and we're going to see playing his full 18, just following him for that round, seeing that commentary, how things go for him, and seeing if he puts himself in position to strike to make that podium spot in the second round. We'll obviously also update the scores from Micah and see how he did in his first round, with part 2, the conclusion of all of it, coming next Tuesday. So before we dive into the hole, though, I want to make a quick note for the channel and something that I really haven't done, and I think I'm only going to make a push like this 3 times in the entire life of this channel. And the first is that if you notice on that subscribe button down there, we are eerily close to 50,000 subscribers. And if you're watching this and you enjoy the content and you haven't hit that subscribe button, it would mean a lot to me to have you press that subscribe button and help push us over that 50K mark. We've got a special giveaway, little celebration prize that we're planning on doing for subs, so you're not going to want to miss that. It means the world to me that we are as close as we are to 50K, and I am just so grateful for each of you watching these videos, and it's been a fun challenge to try to stay teaching and switch around how we're teaching in these moments. So if you want to support the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's dive into Andrew's round. So we have here our players meeting for the day, getting things started and squared away. Ben Swam, an incredible tournament director. We've got Andrew on hole 14. It's a shotgun start, so each card goes out and starts on a different hole. Everybody goes at one time, rips it up the hill. The elevation does not play well on camera here, but you can see the yellow band of the basket off straight ahead. Andrew's a little pinched off here, and we talked about, is he going to be aggressive? Is he going to lay it up? And we opted for the lay it up option. Be okay with the 4 here because it is a par 4. Definitely an attackable one, but not one that we planned on getting. Andrew's playing an MA4, and so every par we take is going to be just fine here. Actually ends up giving it a decent run because he said he was feeling really confident in his putting today, and so I was like, if you're feeling confident, let's do this, man. And sure enough, he makes his comebacker, comes right at it. Hole 15, island hole. He throws his vulture here, and it's going to fade out a little early for him. Didn't commit to the downhill push of the throw, and unfortunately, he found himself in this water. So makes an incredible putt uphill to the green. I mean, y'all, I was freaking out here. I was so stoked for him to make that putt. You can see vulture chilling in the water there. But saving the par is huge for momentum. We're not taking a bogey early on, second hole of the round, and starting to let the worry creep in. This next hole is a really tough shot, especially if you do not have a forehand. So Andrew's going to elect for the backhand turnover and throws it masterfully. So stoked for him here. Also, the sound's not on these first few holes is because we had a sound issue when we were trying to get things wired up, and so because of that, we didn't get sound until hole 18 of the round. But Andrew giving a decent bit. His putt is feeling incredibly confident here, and that's what we like to see. If you're playing MA4, that's why we always talk about starting at the basket and working your way backwards. Andrew lining up a forehand again. What's important to note here is that the last time we threw a forehand with this exact same disc, it ended up in the water, and what I really like is that he steps up with absolute confidence here, chucks it up the hill again, and look at this. He is absolutely parked for the birdie look. He's about probably 12, 13 feet away from the basket. Does his routine, does his 3 putts, confident, sticks it in the basket. We are 1 under par, ladies and gentlemen. And when you're playing an MA4, especially on a longer course like this, having the opportunity to get under par and stay under par is huge. Gets a hold of this one. It's 220 feet. You can tell he kind of put a little more juice into it than he needed to put, but we're still looking down at the basket. Nice, easy approach here.
It's a downhill slope. Just loft it in. Come out and come back around. That one just gonna. Nope, too much.
I also had Andrew mic'd up this round, and I was mic'd up as well, so that way you can kind of hear his thoughts as he's throwing. Not necessarily how he wanted it to go, but
Just straight.
telling himself nice and straight. Sure enough, jams about a 22, 23 footer to save the par. Absolutely awesome. I am so confident in what Andrew's doing right now.
Nope, too far left. It's all right.
And that's what I want to highlight there is why I'm so confident in what Andrew's doing is you can tell he was like, oh, too far left, I threw a bad shot, but immediately going with that's all right because we just want pars here. Nothing crazy, nothing spectacular. If we get birdies, that's amazing. This is definitely a hole we were trying to play for birdie, but missing the game plan, going off of it, and still taking a par is okay. Now, hole 2, similar vibe. It's a big hyzer. Andrew absolutely gets a hold of one here, sends it all the way out there. Loved this shot. It was exactly what we drew up. There's a lot of ways to mess up this hole, even though it feels really simple, just because most MA4 and honestly all the way down up to MA2, most people are not going to get a 2 on this hole with it being such a hard push all the way to the basket. So we told Andrew to play to this silver basket, and notice he is absolutely parked under the silver basket. Easy layup. We take our 3 and we walk away. I cannot stress how much we were playing for pars and Andrew masterfully doing it. But this is a super interesting scenario right here.
I find it odd that we practiced throwing into that tree, and I couldn't do it until now.
So what are you thinking here? Because we did not practice much over here.
Yeah, we did not. I'm thinking about keeping it low. Probably back truth, just try to keep it low because it's got a little bit of flex to it.
I think you can go low, or I think you can go high over those.
Go high around?
You see, over the...
Go over the 2, yeah.
Yeah. I think you can go either way. If you go high, you're going to need a faster distance than that.
I know. I'm just worried about going over the road.
That's fair. If you feel more comfortable with low, I think low is fine.
Nah, let's go. Oh, man.
Go low and take the 4.
Huh?
Go low and accept the 4. I think if you're going low, that's what we're playing for.
Yeah, well,
but a 4 is okay from over here.
I know, but I think we can go up that way. It'll crash down. Still might be a 4, but we'll give it a shot.
You can see it roll out to the grass there.
All right. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I think we got to accept, right? Not a great tee shot, not a great second shot. A 4 is...
A 4 is what we're shooting for now.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking about, getting up, lay up, hit the 4, move on to hole 4.
Move on, yeah, we're fine.
So when we practiced this hole, that big tree that Andrew ended up hitting, we could tell was in his head. So I told him in practice to throw multiple shots and try to hit that tree, because you notice you're going to have a really hard time hitting that tree if you're actually aiming for it. And so we did not practice that worst case scenario over there, which is a fault of mine, not setting him up for like absolute worst case scenario for him to throw from there.
That's right.
But
We got that putt.
that exact logic of
Huh? I
we
think so.
threw a bad tee shot, we
We're
threw
good.
the second shot, we tried to execute something, it didn't go okay. So you have to accept you can't throw 2 bad shots and still get good results. But what we did there is a great upshot and then an even better putt. He threw it past the basket, which means it had a chance to go in on the upshot, and also makes an awesome putt. I'm telling you guys, Andrew's putt is out of this world right now during this round. He's doing so good. We also, on this plan, we talked about just throwing a big swooping hyzer that we couldn't put it too far right. And once we opened up that mind of not trying to go at the basket, but just the big hyzer for Andrew, it made this hole so much simpler for him. So find your line that works for you. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Based on how Andrew's putt was going all rounds, when we saw this look, I was so confident he was going to make this, but we're still okay. He was on line. His putt was dialed in. We love to see that. Now, this hole's interesting. You can see the sidewalk just in front of the green. It makes a massive island here for hole 5. It's a 412-foot hole, but if you miss the island, it's an automatic re-tee without a stroke
think so
penalty.
either.
So we were not too confident whether he was inbounds or out of bounds. There was a chance with how far right he went that it actually faded back in time. So we just threw this as a provisional so that we didn't have to walk all the way up there,
Deal with that.
see it was out of bounds, and then walk all the way back.
Quick update. How we feeling?
Feeling good. Need to slow down. That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Slow down. Play my golf. Still doing well, but
Andrew professed to me while we were playing practice rounds that he can get really negative in his head. And so something I'm super impressed by is just over the the little bit of time
quick
that we were
question,
practicing,
for the
how
camera.
much he dialed that in.
You said these are the upshots that scare you.
yeah.
Why? Because that was real good.
just still in the practice mode of doing what you guys taught me.
I love it. I love it. Great shot.
Andrew said before that upshot, he was like, these are the shots that scare me, and yet he executed it so well. We don't want to walk into a shot with fear. We want to walk in with confidence, which is why if you even go back 2 holes ago where Andrew was trying to decide if he wanted to go the low route or that high route, I was trying to get him to pick a shot that he was going to be confident in and make the best result and best option for that.
Maverick, baby.
He goes with a Maverick here, turns it over, gets a great flex on it, and we are in ideal position to attack this green.
Where are we at here?
Nice.
This is a really tough 2 to get, and so this is another one we were completely content with trying to play for the 3. What I want to make note of here is that is the first putt of the entire round that Andrew looked off on, or I may even say looked like a, quote, MA4 player, and then immediately follows it up with a great putt coming back. It was, I'm telling you guys, the mental of this man to bounce back and play like with the fire he did was so cool to
Remember
watch.
what we talked about on hole 9 with the approach through that right gap?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Through the right gap. That's what I'm thinking about, going straight.
Straight also works. I think either one.
Just the grip.
What a shot, Andrew. So something we talked about there is that on shorter approaches, people will often disc down to something, say like a zone is what Andrew had in his hand originally. But the hard part is with the slower speed on that kind of a motion where he needed to push it straight and then it needed to get really far to the left, by disking up to a faster disc and throwing it slower, not only does the overstability of that disc come into play, but the high speed factor comes in as it doesn't reach the speed. So you can actually end up manipulating some angles a little bit better and getting more action. So that's what Andrew ended up doing here. You're going to see something similar. We had talked about it on this approach, on this second shot here during our practice rounds, but it came into play on the last one. This hole, camera does no justice to it. It is so uphill. You'll be able to see it more on his second shot. So uphill, leading to an OB fence on the left that thankfully we did not go over. And then between those two trees, the right tree has a mando that you have to go left of that. So this is another one that is a really tough 3 to get, especially for our amateur divisions. So we're okay taking a 4 on this. It's something to note as well is if you have a hard time getting even a par on a hole, mentally adjust the par in your head so that you're not walking away from the hole disappointed. Would we love Andrew to grab a 3 on this? Sure. But we are totally content with a 4 because for MA4, it plays more like a 4. And then what does this man do to continue to amaze us, guys? After he takes a, quote, bogey by the scorecard, he steps up and throws a fantastic shot. Gets all the way up there. It's a longer bid. It was probably mid-circle 2, about 45, 50 feet. So we aren't upset that he didn't get that. An easy tap in. Takes another par. And guys, we're cooking at this point. He is doing phenomenal, and he is squarely in second place right now in his division. Know that for him to qualify for this event, all he has to do is podium inside of his division. So to be in solo second for the round for his event,
It's the main note.
so good. Great momentum for round 1.
It's all right.
And then we have this issue where he was between a couple discs, and he was trying to decide which one he wanted to show, how he wanted to attack it, and he ends up pulling the upshot to the right instead of going with a more stable disc. He ends up going with a flatter disc. Or actually, I think he goes with a more stable disc. He went with his zone, and I think possibly because he wanted it to fade, he started a little far to the right. So that's okay. We missed the mando here. Thomas doing great, trying to make sure we get the film. Had a great card here of guys who were really helpful and just fun environment for this first round. That's that zone coming out again.
We'll take that
Such a good shot. Pures this fairway, throws it all the way down there, and we love having an uphill putt on this hole. Notice these last couple putts haven't gone in, the longer looking looks, but the confidence has not dropped for Andrew at all, which is so huge. The more we can keep our confidence, the more we're going to keep our natural swing, and that's exactly what we wanted out of this.
Got a nice putt though.
Was there a little frustration behind that one? Or
Just a little bit.
Just a
little bit. It was trying to fight the wind too. I knew I had to throw this thing hard.
If you had to look up textbook how to play hole 13 at George Ward, this is how you would do it.
All right, so how are we feeling after the round?
Feeling pretty good, pretty good. Little adjustments to be made here and there, but I think we can correct them on the second hole or second round and keep going forward.
Yeah, what would you say biggest strength of your round?
Biggest strength. Really working on the approach shots, being confident in the
Not
putting.
what we're fixing. What was the biggest
No,
strength?
biggest strength would be the confidence in putting.
Okay. I completely agree with you, dude. Like, you can kind of play it back and go, okay, sure, there may have been some putts that maybe you want back, but also some phenomenal putts that you
Right,
hit.
like at least getting bids to where, hey, we're out, but if we make it, we're good. I know I'm on the other side and can make it there too.
Yeah, and I really appreciated the thing you kept saying over and over again of like, I know I'm going to make it on the other side. Like, that is a confidence that you can tell you had it compared to even other folks on your card who there was nerves on the comebackers and things like that. Like, you were, I would say you were more aggressive on the bids than anyone else on your card. Do you know where you're at standings wise? Did you check it all?
I checked it and I'm sitting at third right now.
Sitting in third. Okay, so we are 6 strokes back of the lead, but 3 strokes. You're a stroke
ahead of fourth.
Ahead of fourth.
Right.
3 strokes back as second. So podium is looking possible for sure.
Right.
What's the like positive thing we're going to focus on in the next round? What are you telling yourself heading into this next round?
Heading to the next round is really focus on the 150 and in.
Okay.
And if I can make that, I mean, there's a few that like hole 15 coming down and into the creek. There's not much you can do about it. Yeah. But focus on, if I can get off the tee, we can get in again.
Absolutely. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Obviously, this is round 1. Round 2, where it looks like we're going to be with Micah and MA2. So we'll put Micah's round right here because we're tracking Micah as well. So you can see what he did in round 1, where he's standing in the division. I think he is in 4th right now, and he's a couple strokes back of the lead, 1 stroke back, I think, of podium. Going to be super interesting. You'll have to find out next week whether or not he made it. And if you're watching this in the future and that video is already up, you'll find out right there. So hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you have an amazing rest of the week. Please make it fantastic for someone else too. But for now,
I'll leave you with the birdie.
woo!